Let's go to New Brunswick now. The situation has turned violent at a protest near the scene of a long highway blockade. The trouble has only gotten worse since the RCMP showed up this morning to enforce a court injunction. Let's go back now to the CBC's Jennifer Choi on the outskirts of Rexton, New Brunswick. Jennifer, what's happening there now?
Well, Carol, right now the RCMP cars that were on fire earlier are still in flames. There's been some explosions from the cars. People have backed away. There's thick black cloud of smoke in the air. There are also, what I've been told, 2 other RCMP vehicles on just beyond those ones that are also on fire right now. We constantly hear horns beeping. To the other side of that, we see a blockade, a line of RCMP officers blocking Route 134. They're standing across maybe about 100 officers. People are right now, we're kind of stuck in the middle. We can't go anywhere. Now, protests here started, almost 3 weeks ago with a small group of people who are against shale gas exploration. It's a way of extracting natural gas from rocks. And they blockaded a place, a compound where some trucks were stored by a shale gas exploration company from Texas. Now, I've been told that on the other side of where I am right now, those trucks were actually a short time ago all taken out and back onto the highway. Those trucks were essentially hostage for several weeks by these protesters. And today, as the RCMP enforced an injunction that was in place, that was put in by this company, many, many more protesters have come to the scene, and now it has come to this tense, almost dangerous situation right now where it's a standoff really between the protesters and the RCMP.
Jennifer, we're looking at some protesters getting water on their face. Pepper spray, as you have told us, has been used in this confrontation. We see the police moving in against the protesters now. Who are the protesters, and what is their main complaint, their main reason for doing this?
The protesters are made up of groups from various different parts of New Brunswick. Some are from a First Nation community called Elsipogtog, not far away from here. Also, there are protesters who are non-native, who are people in New Brunswick who don't want shale gas exploration. They want more information about this type of natural gas extraction from rocks. They say that water pumped into the wells that are used to get that gas could be contaminated and then contaminate the drinking water here. So people have a lot of questions for the provincial government. They want to know how safe is this practice and what are the long-term impacts. They haven't had their questions answered, and so they've been protesting here along this route for parts of the last few weeks, also throughout the summer on another highway where this same company was doing some work in terms of fracking. So there has been a historic, I guess, over the last few years, controversial discussion between the province and people who want answers about what the impact will actually be. They say they're not getting those answers from the provincial government, who they feel is just moving ahead with shale gas exploration. So they've decided that the only way to take some action is to actually barricade some of the equipment of these companies, and also to just take over to make their opinions known, and they want to be heard.
Jennifer, I just want to make it clear for our audience, because it's a fairly new way of extracting gas from shale. It's called fracking, and it is controversial. Explain how it works.
Well, in simple terms, the way it works is natural gas is in shale, which is a natural rock. And what happens is these companies, apparently here in New Brunswick, it is a rich province in terms of shale gas. So what companies do is they drill wells, they then pump tons of water with chemicals into the shale, and what will happen is they can extract gas that way. But what happens is it also leaves all of those chemicals in the rock bed, in the system, and they're worried that contaminated water could seep into water and wells in other communities where the shale gas has been extracted.